Hey, mighty men of God, Joe Martin here with Real Men Connect, where we help good men become godly men by connecting them to successful husbands, great fathers, and strong leaders. Now, before you freak out, yes, this is the Real Man Ride Along, but I'm not driving. I'm actually parked in the parking lot, so don't think I'm doing something crazy. I actually just left my wife's fitness studio at Busybody Fitness, and we had our men's ministry meeting, our Ironman men's ministry meeting. And I had this topic I want to discuss with you and do it very quickly, but I want to start it with a riddle before I just jump right into it. I want to ask you this. What do you think that most people want but are afraid to do? What do you think most people want but are afraid to do? The answer is change. Yes, that dreaded word that we hate to hear. We want things to change, but we're afraid to change some things in our lives. You know, my wife has a great phrase that she always says that you can't expect anything to change unless you're willing to change some things. And so I wanted to talk to you about change and how deep this topic really is, because I think it could really benefit a lot of men, and not just men, but people in general. But we as men, we struggle because if you ask the average man, he wants a lot of things to change in his life. He wants his relationship to change. He wants his job to change. He wants his income level to change. He wants to change things in his environment. He wants to change things in his surroundings. He maybe even want his own children to act right. I don't know what it could be. But also, I work around a lot of women with my wife's fitness business, and I get exposed to a lot of women. And I also work and train teachers. And a lot of times I hear women want to change their body image. They want to change their weight. They want to change their diet. They want to change their health. They want to change their energy level. You get the point. But we can't expect things to change if we're not willing to make some changes. You know, as a professor and an educator, I get asked a question a lot by my students all the time is, can they be a whatever? Professor Martin, do you think I can become a doctor? Professor Martin, do you think I have what it takes to become a lawyer? Professor Martin, do you think I have what it takes to start a business, to run a successful business, to be an entertainer, to be a rapper or be an actor or an actress? And so I get these questions all the time, but I always correct my students, and they now anticipate it coming every time they ask them the questions, can they be or can they do? I always ask this question. I said, you're asking me the wrong question. A better question is, how bad do you want it? Let me ask that again. I'm not questioning what you want to change, what you want to do, but I do question your commitment level. How bad do you want it? See, most people want a lot of things, but they're not willing to do what it takes to get it. Now, I'm going to throw myself on the chopping block because when I was younger, I always wanted to be a basketball player. I wanted to be a professional basketball player, and not just any player. I wanted to be just like Magic Johnson. Now, for those who know me, you're probably laughing right now because you're thinking, Joe, but you're 5'5" and he's 6'9". You see the discrepancy? But I was so determined because I said, but I have good ball skills. I can become a basketball player. There's short guys in the NBA. Now, I wanted to be a basketball player, and I thought I wanted to make the changes necessary to become one until I heard an interview with Magic Johnson's mom. Not Magic Johnson, his mother. His mother had revealed to the public on an interview. They asked her, they said, did you always know that your son wanted to be a basketball player? How did you notice that he was really serious about it? And she said this, and it blew my mind. She says that they lived in East Lansing, Michigan, which if you guys been up north, it gets freezing cold in East Lansing. She says that when Irvin Magic Johnson was younger, he would go out in sub-freezing temperature, and he would shovel snow off the basketball court so he could have his spot so he could practice shooting his jump shot. And she said he wouldn't just shoot a few shots. He would shovel the snow, which would take him about an hour or so to shovel the snow. Then he would shoot for several hours, about 500 to 750 to 1,000 shots, just so he can improve his game as a basketball player. Now, I have to tell you, after I saw that interview, I said to myself, Joe, you want to be a basketball player, but I don't think I want it that bad. And I'm just keeping it real because I wasn't willing to make those kind of changes in my day and commit my type of time and energy to something like basketball. But what I also figured out also is that God has put something in my spirit and given me an anointing, a special anointing, no different than he gave Magic Johnson basketball. He gave me a desire and hunger for education and to communicate. And so guess what? I was willing to make the necessary changes to improve my communication skills and be able to do what I do now professionally, get paid as a public speaker to do public speaking. So the question is not what you want, but how bad do you want it? Now, let's even keep it biblical. When, Jesus did a lot of miracles, and he did a lot of healing. And a lot of people gravitated towards Jesus because they wanted the healing. Now, what was amazing to me is that people would come to him blind, issues with blood and illnesses and disease and everything, and they would expect that Jesus would heal them. But what was weird was how Jesus would address them when they came for healing. Jesus asked this question before he would heal anybody is, do you want to be healed? Now, that seems like a crazy question if you're sick, broke down, busted, and disgusted, and you come for healing, and the man who has the healing, the power to heal you, asks you, do you want to be healed? Basically, what Jesus was saying is, I know I can heal you because God can do all things, but the question is, how bad do you want it? Now, he didn't say it in those words, but he was questioning their belief. And it reminds me of when the man who came to Jesus because he wanted his son to be healed. And the man asked Jesus, I know you're the Son of God. Can you heal my son? And Jesus seemed to be offended by the question. Jesus asked, he says, can I heal him? Of course I can heal him. All things are possible with God. But Jesus basically was saying, but do you believe he can be healed? But I love the man's response. And he was just being totally honest because I've prayed this prayer myself when I struggle with my faith. He says, of course I believe you can heal him. But will you help me, God, with my unbelief? God, I know you can do it. I know I can make these changes. I know I can commit to this process. I know I can become but God, I believe it, but will you help me with my unbelief? How bad do you want it? You know, we've heard that the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. See, we've heard that so much that now we don't even hear it anymore. So I decided to change the definition of what insanity is and give it a new definition. And here's the definition. Listen to this definition of insanity. It's you don't care enough to even get started to change. And you're not committed enough to keep it going, to keep the change. But you still expect things to change without changing. Let me say that again and make it a little bit more simple. That you don't care enough to start, and you're not committed enough to keep going, but you still expect things to change without changing. The question is, how bad do you want it? I hope this message blesses you. I'm sorry it went a little bit long, but if this message has been a blessing to you, please share it with someone who is struggling with making change, who want to see things be different, but they had to be willing to do some things that are different than what they've always been doing. As always, you know that we are males by birth, but we are men by choice. So we must intentionally make that choice to become men, because a male is a terrible thing to waste. So until next time, be blessed, stay strong, and most importantly, stay in God's grip. Talk to you soon.